We all want to be successful in life. Many people have different views of what success really is. We talked about that last Sunday in some of our points of our sermon, talking to our graduates, how we need to be having goals in our lives, how we need to be listening and seeking advice, and how we need to prioritize and have our priorities set right in life. And those kind of things are important to us. And when I was thinking about something to discuss for Monday meditation, a passage in the scripture for us to focus upon is that in Proverbs chapter 4. It reminded me of a song that goes all the way back to vacation Bible school and Bible classes when I was young. The song has those lines in it: "Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. Be careful, little feet, where you go." Why? Because the Father up above is looking down in love. So be careful with all of those things. We need to be careful in watching our lives and making sure that we're living a successful life, which is a life focused on God and a life that gets to be with God for all eternity when this world comes to an end. And so thinking about that song and this text, it brought them together for me very clearly, how there's a basis for that song. And it comes from Proverbs chapter 4, verses 23 through the end of the chapter. Now, if you'll know anything about Proverbs, you'll know that most of it is written as a father to his son, giving him advice and preparing him for the future. The wise man Solomon, we believe to be the author of the book, who was writing to his son and how he needed to live his life. And the words in this part of the proverb are so important to anyone's life to see how to be successful. And he tells him, verse 23, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." That word keep carries an idea of guarding and protecting. Guard your heart, your innermost being, who you really are deep down inside. Keep it with all diligence. That's effort that's being put into it. For out of it, out of that heart, out of the core of who we are, those are the issues of life. Those are the springs of life, some translations have. And the life-giving flow comes from within how we're living our lives. We need to make sure that we're guarding what goes in. Now, how do we do that? Verse 24, he says, "Put away from thee a froward mouth and perverse lips. Put far from thee." A froward mouth. This is perverseness and wickedness in your mouth, perverse lips, bad language. Keep that far from you. That shouldn't be a part of your life. You make sure that it stays far away from you. You don't say it yourself, and you make sure that you're not in situations where you're constantly hearing it as much as possible yourself, because those things go into the heart and they'll eventually come out if we're not careful. So he's saying, guard your heart. Protect it from foul language. Protect it from lying and deceit. Protect it from those things that would cause your speech to betray you, to betray who you really want to be, and ultimately betray our God. So we keep our heart with all diligence. We're going to make sure that we watch what we say. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. But then verse 25, it's also involving the eyes. He says, "Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee." Keep focused. The peripheral can sometimes get us in trouble. Now, I know peripheral vision is a blessing to us. We can see something coming out the corner of our eye. We can watch out for that, dodge that, maybe avoid some dangerous situation. But what this is talking about is not a negating of the importance of the peripheral vision. He's saying keep your focus, keep your eyes on the target, keep your eyes on the goal. Your eyelids are there for a reason. Sometimes they need to be closed, but he says keep them straight forward, focused on heaven, focused on God. This is what the wise man is telling his son if he wants to keep his heart, if he wants to be diligent. As a matter of fact, when you go back up in the chapter, verse 19, he says, "The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble." The way of the wicked, they're walking around in darkness, but these things that he's going to give him, the wisdom of these proverbs and keeping his heart, is a way of light, a way of illuminating the path before us, a way of making straight our paths, as the text would say later on. "Now, my son," he says, "give attendance," or attend to my words, "incline thine ear to my sayings, let them not depart," this is verse 21, "from thine eyes, keep them in the midst of thine heart." Why? "For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh." It's a healthy life to live a life focused on God, a life that's keeping your heart, watching your mouth, keeping your eyes straight forward, focused on the goal. And then verse 26, he says, "Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Ponder the path of thy feet. Smooth out the path for your feet. Make sure that your path that you're on, the path that you're walking, the path that I'm walking, we need to make sure that that's a path, as he says at the end of the verse, that's established. A path that has been made established by God, that this is the path that leads to success, to life, to hope, to peace, to all of those things that we long for. Watch what you say. Watch what you see. And watch where you go. Why? Because the Father up above is looking down in love, and He wants us to be right with Him. He wants us to be with Him, and He wants what's best for us. Something for us to think about. Verse 27, He says, turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. I want to do all that I can to help as many people as I can remove their feet from an evil path. But ultimately, there's only one person that I can truly make sure whose feet are not on the wrong path, and that's my own. I can encourage, I can make sure that in my house the words that are ugly are not used, foul language, lying, deceit, those kind of things. I can try to make sure those aren't used in my house, but ultimately I must make sure they're not used in my life. I can make sure that I don't put anything before the eyes of my children that they don't need to see. But ultimately, I need to make sure that I'm not putting anything before my eyes that I don't need to see. Psalm 101 verse 3, David said, I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the works of them that turn aside. It will not cleave to me. And so I watch what I'm saying and watch what I'm doing and seeing and things like that personally. And then I have to make sure that I don't carry my children. I don't let them walk in places that they don't need to walk. I make sure that the path that they walk is as sure as possible, but ultimately there's only one that I can make sure is the right path, that the one's feet are on the right path, and that's my own. And that's what Solomon is telling his son in that Proverb chapter 4, verses 23 through 27. Make sure you watch your eyes, you watch your mouth, you watch your feet, but ultimately make sure you keep your heart. Keep your heart with God, something on which to meditate this Monday and every day. May God bless you till we meet again.